Hey, I'm Dr. Ranicki with Dr. Ranicki's Creating Wellness Center in Savannah, Georgia. So I'm sure at one time or another you've at least seen somebody, if not experienced it yourself, where somebody got an adjustment and there was a crack or a pop, or at least you've heard of that concept. And it's always an interesting thing to talk about, does that crack or pop have to be there or not? Is that important to whether the adjustment works? Well, many years ago, a couple of chiropractors wanted to answer that very question. And so they designed a pretty ingenious research study to figure out if that crack and pop mattered or not. And so the way they did it is that they took a group of people and they split them into three separate groups. All three groups got a white blood cell count. Now remember, white blood cells are the army men of your immune system. So they were basically measuring how well their immune system was working at that moment. So the first group got the white blood cell count, and then they got an adjustment where they purposely made it crack and pop. Then the second group got an adjustment where they purposely made it not crack and pop. The third group didn't get any adjustment at all. And then 15 minutes later, they went back and they did another white blood cell count with all three groups. And what they found was that with the two groups that got an adjustment, whether there was a crack and pop or not, there was an immediate and significant boost in their white blood cell counts. But the third group that didn't get any adjustment saw their white blood cell counts stay the same. So since the boost in white blood cell counts were equal between these two groups, their conclusion was that the crack and pop really isn't all that important or relevant to the adjustment. There's a lot of different chiropractic adjusting techniques out there, and some of them involve cracking and popping, other ones involve a little instrument that delivers a little quick tap, and other ones are just about holding a light, gentle contact for a longer period of time. There's all kinds of different ways to do a chiropractic adjustment. Some of them make the crack and pop, some of them don't, but they all have different strengths and different weaknesses. There's a right tool for each job, and a good chiropractor should not apply the same tool to every single case, but determine in this particular case, what will be the technique that this patient will respond the best to. Most chiropractors know more than one technique and could use a number of different options depending on what a particular patient presents with. So, like I said, they found that there wasn't any need to that crack and pop. And that's cool, that's important, that's valuable to know. But in my opinion, much cooler, much more valuable, and much more important is that when you get an adjustment, your white blood cell counts go up. So think for a moment what that would do for you if you were trying to fight off a cold. If you had an increase in white blood cell counts, can you see how that would make it to where you could kick that cold faster? What about if you were just barely starting to get the cold? If you woke up in the morning and you felt like that little tiny scratchiness in the back of the throat and you said, oh no, I don't have time for this right now. That feels like that's going to turn into a sore throat or a cold. What if you got an adjustment right then and there? I don't mean literally in bed, but you called your chiropractor, got on schedule that morning, not later in the day after it has already had 12 hours to progress and things to get a little worse, but right there and nipped it in the bud and got your white blood cell count boosted. What could that do to help you to knock that thing out quick and fast before anything happened? And so that's exactly what I do for myself, and that's exactly what I do for my wife as well. If I wake up in the morning and I got the tiniest little hint of a sore throat or a little bit of a runny nose, I don't think about, well, maybe it'll just get better, maybe my body will be able to handle it on its own, maybe this is as bad as it'll be. I hit it hard and I hit it fast because I've got so many people that are depending on me. I can't afford to be taking a sick day myself. And in fact, in 20 years of practice now, I've never taken one single sick day, not due to illness. I did have a motorcycle accident, dislocated my knee. I had to miss about a week of work because of that. But as far as just, I can't come into work today because I got a cold or I got the flu, not once. And folks, I promise you, that's not because I'm just genetically blessed. When I was a kid, I was a very, very sickly kid. If you haven't already watched the video where I talked about how I got started in chiropractic, I describe in there all of the health problems that I had as a child, and then how once I started receiving chiropractic, it all got turned around. Well, so it's not just genetically blessed, it's that when I feel the beginnings of a problem, I get in and see my chiropractor that morning, and then I go back again at the end of the day. And I promise you, this is not any easier for me than it is for you, because my chiropractor is on the opposite side of town from my practice and where I live, and they're open the same hours that I'm open. So it's not even like I can say, well, I'll go in before I start seeing patients. I have to reschedule patients and get myself taken care of, and then come back and now work extra hard to catch back up from the patients that we had to reschedule. And then I got to reschedule people in the afternoon so I can go see my chiropractor again at the end of the day. But what that does for me is that the next day I wake up, sore throat's gone, runny nose is gone, and it doesn't turn into a 2 or 3 day process, but instead just a 1 day process. But anytime that I've been out of town when that happened or something like that where I couldn't get to see a chiropractor soon enough, then it turned into a 5-7 day long process. Even if I got to it in day 2 or 3, it still didn't have the same effectiveness as it did in day 1. So keep that in mind, that chiropractic care can boost your immune system. And if you've got a child at home who just seems to be sick time after time, cold after cold, ear infection after ear infection, then I would encourage you to take a look to see what chiropractic might be able to do to give them an immune boost so that they can start to fight these things off quick and fast and easy all on their own. So thanks for your time and attention. If there's anything we can do to help you out with, whether it be with an immune issue or some other problem that just doesn't seem to be healing the way that it ought to and that you know that it should, please reach out to us at Dr. Ranicki's Creating Wellness Center. We'd be happy to see if we've got the ability to help you out. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to post any questions or comments below, and we look forward to meeting you soon.